This is Carlin on 98.7 ESPN.
Yes, it is lightning round, lightning hour. Carlin, you now. 800-919-3776. 800-919. ESPN. Disaster, mess, ugly, somewhere in between. We will get to it all over the next hour, and I invite you to be a part of the program early and, well, not often, but you get the point, at 800-919-3776 on Twitter, at Chris Carlin. By all means, check in there, as well as Instagram. That guy Carlin, and the video stream is up and running at ESPN New York 98.7's Twitter handle, and, of course, on ESPN New York's Facebook page. My friends, what we saw this afternoon was yet another example of bad baseball. And the Yankees are a bad baseball team right now. It's amazing that you can sit here and consider where they are, even though it's only 12 games in the year, and have legitimate gripes about the situation. We've been here so many times before with these kind of teams, haven't we? Where it's so early in the year, and whether it's the weather or just guys still trying to find their footing or whatever it is, they just haven't been able to get going. I have to tell you, this feels a little bit different, because this team right now appears to be playing with absolutely zero confidence. And I am genuinely concerned that if there isn't a shakeup in relative short order of some sort, of some significance, that not that the Yankees aren't going to make the postseason, but that it's just going to be an average, ordinary year, and they are almost going to be treating it like spring training before they get to the postseason. This is where we have put this urgency. The Yankees needing to be better in the postseason. And it has somewhat taken away the urgency from the Yankees just needing to be better, period. It's funny. I heard Jack Curry on the postgame today use the word quicksand. And you tell me that somebody can explain this better than Shane Falco.
Quicksand. You're playing. And you think everything is going fine. But then one thing goes wrong. And then another. And another. And you try to fight back. But the harder you fight, the deeper you sink. Till you can't move. You can't breathe. Because you're in over your head. Like quicksand.
Yeah, Shane, like quicksand, because they don't do anything particularly well right now other than pitch out of the bullpen. And how much longer can you continue to ask that group to do more than their fair share? You probably saw the stat, but it bears repeating. It's been so bad. Garrett Cole is 2-0 with a 1.47 ERA and is averaging 6 1/3 innings per start. The rest of the Yankee rotation is 1-4 with a 6.14 ERA and is averaging 4 1/3 per start. That's ugly. That's a disaster. That is troubling at the beginning of a season. I don't look at this as a rotation that's just going to figure itself out. I was against the Corey Kluber signing from the beginning because, to me, a generally good rule of thumb is if someone has to hold a tryout because they haven't pitched in 2 years, no matter how that tryout goes, unless he's throwing 105, don't sign him. Because there's a reason that we got to this point. And with Corey Kluber, there is a reason that we got to this point. He just got absolutely destroyed on home runs today. 3 runs in 4 innings. You might think, oh, it's not that bad. 4 innings, guys. 4 innings. And threw 77 pitches. Hasn't hit 80 pitches yet this year. I can't figure it out. But when Bo Bichette hits his first home run after the other little stubby guy, whose name I'm forgetting, but you know who I'm talking about, the guy that looks like me if I was a foot shorter, that guy, after he homered earlier in the game, and Kluber is having trouble finding the strike zone, and he's supposed to be about being able to have control and all that stuff. I mean, this is what Aaron Boone is saying after the game, and to me, I'm tired of hearing the words, he's close.
Made some pitches to get out of a jam there in his last inning. So I feel like he's continuing to get close to where he needs to be. And when you think of Corey at his best, it's movement and precision, and just getting to over that final hump, but getting real precise.
Well, there's movement in that the ball is moving all over the place, but there's zero precision to what's going on right now. He's been awful. Jamison Taillon has been awful. And the biggest concern of them all right there is that these were your numbers 2 and 3 starters. And somehow, some way, somebody thought this was a solid plan. Somebody thought, our offense will let us ride it out until those two guys get right. This is like another spring training for these two. It looks to me, in just watching them, like they almost need twice as long as a normal spring training, considering how little they have pitched over the last couple of seasons. Everybody continues to beat the drum of the Yankee offense will hit. It will. But will the Yankee offense hit enough to carry them this year? With this rotation, I would not bank on that. I truly would not. This rotation, let's just call it wrong. Wrong. That's what it is. The whole situation is wrong. And listen, I'm not panicking here, but we know the difference. We know the difference between when a team is just fighting itself for the first part of the year and still finding their way through, and a team that honestly just doesn't look good. And this rotation is putting the Yankees in a terrible spot. And this rotation was put together by Brian Cashman, who has never really had a great feel for pitching at all. If you look over the history of the 20 years, outside of bringing in the big guys, outside of Garrett Cole and CC Sabathia and those guys, where have the other big success stories been? There really haven't been a whole lot. There's been a lot of money wasted on pitching, and there certainly hasn't been enough pitching developed in the Yankees system during that stretch. You want to say Luis Severino? Okay. They ended up paying him early, but he's not out there. So no matter the situation, it may not be their fault that he's hurt, but he's hurt and he's not out there. And when he has been out there since he got the contract, it hasn't been phenomenal. Can we agree on that? Jordan Montgomery, okay, 4th or 5th starter. We know that. Not an answer. Severino, you're hoping for July. This is not just a wait and carry. Is it possible that the division is actually a little bit better than you thought? Maybe. Again, we're not getting nuts here. But I would look at the composition of the team and look at how poorly they run the bases and look at how poorly they defend. I mean, what do you feel great about besides what the Pen's done this year? They've gone above and beyond, and we know that can only last so long. All the way around, this is a mess. It's an early season mess. And I honestly believe the way the team is constructed, this is not automatically going to go away. You can't just sit there and say it's early all the time. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's not early for some of the other teams that have gotten off to good starts. Is it early for the Dodgers, who just won the World Series and yet have come out 9-2? There's an urgency to the way they play. The Yankees don't play with any urgency right now. They don't. They don't treat the regular season like it's important anymore. Maybe we're part of that problem. Maybe the fact that we don't treat the regular season like it's anything anymore because the Yankees just haven't won a World Series in forever. And that rubs off. And everybody just sits here and thinks, we'll get there. Okay. Maybe at some point the car will turn over as you're trying to start it. At some point, it's not gonna. Especially if we just continue to expect it to happen. 800-919-3776. Lightning Hour. Load them up. Also, leave your comments on the video stream at 98.7 ESPN's Twitter handle and on ESPN New York's Facebook page. Do that. You can go to Carlin on ESPN YouTube page. Subscribe there. It wouldn't kill you. And we'll get rolling with you. I'm excited to spend some time with you tonight.
It's Carlin.
He's no Michael K.
On 98.7 ESPN.
You are down.
All righty.
No.
Solid open. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Never.
All the callers are good. The guy Victor cursed like 3 times. I told him that if he curses at all on air, we'd obviously drop it. And he said,
All right,
there's
I'll
like
take him.
Yeah,
I'll
just
take
be-
him second or third.
Just be careful with him.
Yeah.
Everyone else is.
I just want to remind everybody. I know everybody's
Now
upset.
through April 30th at
Let's keep it
Pep
clean.
Boys, get free installation instantly when you buy 4 Kelly Edge AS tires.
Um,
Restrictions apply. See store or
Matthew
pepboys.com
Wilson on
for
the stream,
details.
brother. We will use your comment here in just a few minutes.
Now in your neighborhood. Let's protect the people we love and get back to the things we miss the most. The vaccines are safe, effective, and free. It's easy to make an appointment at ny.gov/getvaccinated by calling 833-NYS-4VAX. That's the number 4 VAX, or checking in at your local pharmacy or health department. A message from the New York State Health Department. Let's vaccinate New York.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
To learn more about our programs and to donate, go to carsforkids.com. That's Cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting real estate donations.
Fresh bread in the morning, at lunch, at dinner. Fresh Italian bread, natural, no preservatives, family-baked Calandras bread. Can't you smell it? From their bakery to your local supermarket. CALANDRAS, bakery.com for a store near you.
Matthew, good to hear from you, brother. Yeah, all is great. Stevie Brzezinski, I need 10 gallons of booze. Huh?
10 seconds, Cars.
Okay.
Monitor all at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at lifelock.com. Promo code RISK.
Let's roll. 800-919-3776. Twitter at Chris Carlin. We'll hit up some of the tweets as well and comments on the video stream at 98.7 ESPN's Twitter handle. We begin, and I want to remind you, as upset as you may be as a Yankee fan at the moment, let's keep it clean. Buddha in the Bronx is going to start us off tonight. I know I don't have to remind him that. Buddha, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on, Cat Daddy? How are you, man?
You know.
Listen, I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know you got limited time here. With the Yankees, as you discussed, I mean, listen, with the Boone approach, the pitching, both starting and relief, and the backs, it's not one of those entities that are causing the problem. It's all cumulative. But, I mean, sometimes sports are just, they're very basic and simple. These playoff losses, you know, after they pile up year after year, I mean, if you're not the kind of team that has that certain type of core, I don't want to use the word, like you said, to keep it clean. If your team is made up of guys who don't have a certain skill set that has nothing to do with playing, but more to do with their character as a human being, it's hard to overcome that. I think these guys have they've maxed out on their potential with the team as it's presently designed.
Well, that's a disaster if it's true. And I think that as it's presently designed, you have to start to look at that, especially this season, if this is just going to be a sleepwalk through the year type of year. And why were we talking about Buddha not 5 days ago? Hey, Rougned Odor is going to give him a jolt. Really? You need a jolt in the second week of April? A jolt?
When you use the term sleepwalking, doesn't that just bring you to Boone's press conferences? I mean, there's no fire in his belly.
But let's call it what it is, okay? Here's the problem with it, and thanks, Buddha, for the call. For any manager these days, not the old school managers, which really are not around that much besides Tony La Russa, which is inexplicable that he's back to begin with. But point is this. You can't offend anybody. Can't offend anybody publicly. You cannot call out your players publicly. Not going to fly. Not going to happen anymore. I saw it with the Mets. You know, when I was doing pre and post game for 5 years, there wasn't anybody that went out of his way more to protect his guys than Terry Collins. And Terry, one night, I think it was probably around 2012, and it was later in the year. It was easily late August, early September, and the Mets are sleepwalking through another season, and they lose a game 9-0. And I think they had one hit, and it wasn't against Clayton Kershaw. And Terry comes into the post game, and you can tell he's hot. And he says, when asked, did your team quit tonight? You'll have to ask them. You'll have to ask them. That was the extent of what he said. He was very upset, but all he said was, you'll have to ask them. Terry had to work hard to get that team back because that ticked off guys in the locker room. That's how soft it is right now. And listen, I'm not going to be the guy complaining about how soft it is. That's not me. We're moving on from that because I've accepted that as fact. So when you listen to Aaron Boone right now, and he says things like he's close, you know, he's not far away. Aaron Boone's job is to be Kevin Bacon in Animal House at the end of the movie. There's rioting. Somebody's looting the Food King, but he's got his hands up saying, all is well. There's 10,000 marbles on the ground, which is what it looks like when the Yankees are on the base pads. You get the point. His job is to make sure the players are protected, and he keeps that situation calm. Victor in Connecticut is next, 98.7 ESPN. Victor, what's up, brother?
There's 10,000 marbles on the ground.
That's me. I said that 10 seconds ago. What do you got, Victor? Okay, you got nothing. Peter in Jersey City is next, 98.7 ESPN. Pete, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, thanks for taking the call. I just want to say, listen, I'm a diehard Yankee fan. I'm not happy with the way it started, but, I think everyone just got to relax. The pitching will come. The hits will come. At some point, they'll reel off 20 out of 25 like they do every single year. And it's just about October, man. So I understand, everyone's a little nervous about the pitching. To me, it's more the hitting than the pitching right now. Not that.
Well, listen, but if you're going to tell me, here's the problem, Pete. If you're going to tell me to have faith in one aspect of this, you're going to tell me to have faith in the rotation over the hitting? I would not.
No. I'd have faith in the hitting over the rotation.
Yeah.
But I think the rotation is good enough if all the batters do what they're supposed to do. If you're scoring 6-7 runs a game, I think that the weak parts of the rotation won't be exposed as frequently. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially with the solid bullpen.
I understand that, but you can't ask the bullpen to keep doing what they're doing. The Yankees bullpen has been out there virtually more than anybody else in the game. They were right up there before the game yesterday, like second in baseball in relief innings.
I think they are second, yeah.
Yeah, Pete, you can't do that. You cannot ask them to continue to do that. And thanks for the call, because you're never going to get anywhere if that's what you want them to do. John is in Chatham, New Jersey, next on 98.7 ESPN. John, what's going on?
Chris, how's it going?
Good, Johnny. How are you?
Chris,
John, where are you from in Chatham?
Excuse me?
Where do you live in Chatham, John?
Off of Passaic Avenue.
I got you. I grew up there. That's why I'm saying. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a newcomer though, Chris.
Okay.
I'm a North boy, really.
Well, you're a rich guy,
But
is what you
anyway.
are if you can live there now.
I'm in the poor section.
I don't think that
Anyway,
exists.
Chris,
Anyway, go ahead.
Aaron Boone keeps saying, we're going to start bashing. We're going to bash. And I believe him. Soon they are going to bash. But you know what? You got to pitch, too.
Yeah.
This team has a bad makeup. And I feel good for Sanchez that he had a halfway decent start. But you know what? Trade him now that he had a halfway decent start. Maybe you can get a piece for him instead of nothing at the beginning of the year. And can we play Frazier every day to see what we got?
Frazier should be playing every day. I don't understand that. Thanks for the call, John. I really don't. Frazier should be playing every day. But once they brought Brett Gardner back, like they don't worry about Michael said this the other day. They don't worry about hurting Clint Frazier's feelings. Not in the least. But when you don't play a guy like that every day, he doesn't get better. He's not a player that playing intermittently is going to help him. You say he's your left fielder, let him play. Let him go out there and play. So I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. 800-919-3776. I want to get to one of the comments over on the video stream. It's on 98.7 ESPN New York's Twitter handle. It's from Matthew Wilson, excuse me. Chris, this is what happens when the Yankees are possessed to get under the luxury tax to rest to avoid a big paying a big bill. Look, it's not even necessarily about that. It's about how the assets have been allocated. Garrett Cole is one thing. You needed Garrett Cole. He's the one thing keeping you afloat in a lot of ways. Can you imagine how bad the start would be without Garrett Cole so far? But you also have guys, I don't understand $11 million for somebody that hasn't pitched in 2 years. I don't understand having Stanton and Judge, as good as he is, can hit the ball out of the ballpark as we know. You've got $40 million tied up in virtually the same player. And that is going to come home to roost at some point because Judge is going to be hurt at some point. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And you're asking Luke Voit when he comes back to come back and immediately have this massive impact on an offense. Like Luke Voit just went out there last year and had his best year. So he's been injured, and now you're going to ask him to step in and not carry the team, but do some major damage right away? That's asking a lot, is it not? Mike in the Bronx is next, 98.7 ESPN. Michael, what's going on, bud?
Hey, how you doing, Chris? This is my first time on your show, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for calling in. What's going on?
Sure, man. Well, I just wanted to touch on the Yankees since that's what we've been on. You've been on this whole show. Basically, man, these guys aren't competitors is what I see, man. They make a lot of money. They're giving their money early in their careers, and I don't see the grit. I don't see a lot of hustle. You know, you can still count on a Gardner to still hustle out of little grounders and stuff like that, and that's why he's probably getting more playing time than he should at his level, at the state of his career. But he's probably one of the only guys that still balk at guys, and still get on guys to run, to play this game the way it needs to be played. And I know the game has changed a lot, where guys before you were you batted 300, you're a superstar. Now they're getting 220, 230 batting averages, but they could yank the ball and they're getting all this money, man. I just see, they lost last year, right? Lost ugly. And this year they should have had a fire under them, playing like maniacs. And I don't see that from them. And
yeah, I mean, when I hear Aaron Judge say
organization,
each of the last 2 years, you just remember what it feels like, and you tell the guys that for next year, and you remember this feeling and all that. How's that translating exactly?
It isn't.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right. And he might feel that way, but I don't think he has the demeanor. He doesn't have that in him, to really portray that and into the guys. He might feel like that in his heart, and I know he doesn't want to not be out there when he gets injured and stuff like that. He's a great talent.
There's no getting around that. And thanks for the call, Mike. He's an amazing talent. It's also hard to be a leader when you're not on the field enough. It's very difficult to do. And I agree. I don't think that's his demeanor either. I don't think he's a guy that's going to go around, knocking over post-game spread tables with food all over him. I don't think that's Aaron Judge at all. Spike down in St. Pete was at the game today in Dunedin. Spike, what's up, bud?
Thanks for the plug on that. First of all, Buddha's like William F. Buckley compared to me being like Professor Irwin Corey and expressing ourselves. He's always on the money. Love the caller. Love the passion. Here's the deal today. We went to the game. It's an 8 stadium, minor league stadium. The Yankees played. I could say this on the radio, like they had their head ups their cans. They didn't. The game went to a crawl late. The sun was brutal, but I love the Yankees, and my kid loves the Yankees, and we're 5-10 feet away from everybody. And Urshela, before the game, gave some young kid his gloves, but they played like their heads were up their asses. They just had nothing to try and win that game. I'm telling you, I felt it for the 4 hours I was there. It was a great experience to go because they'll never be back there. I was told by a member of Toronto Blues management that they're going to be in Salem. Is the Salem Stadium in Buffalo?
That's the one. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, it's the Buffalo. It's the one in Buffalo.
They're going back there. So it was the last time we wanted to do something together, and it was a great experience. But Tris, there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's not energy to it at all right now, Spike. Thanks for the call. There's really not. I buy it. I buy it 100%. And when I hear you say it in person down there, I believe it. It doesn't feel like the energy's really coming through. Not in the least. And I can't even get upset about Chad Green giving up a home run. Yankees bullpen, I mean, first of all, that happens. Secondly, the Yankees bullpen has been phenomenal this year. It's really done a great job for everything they've been asked to do. It's mind-boggling. I'll give you another one. Big question I had post-game. Why was Corey Kluber saying this?
You can only pitch as long as they let you.
I'm going to tell you why in just a few moments. All of that coming, all of your calls coming. A half hour until Knicks and the Pelicans pregame at 800-919-3776. It's not a lot. I'm not going to be here for long, but I'm going to be here with a lot of quality time with you. So let's do it. 98.7 ESPN.
Hey, New York.
All right, you're down, Chris.
Now in your neighborhood. Let's protect the people we love and get back to the things we miss the most. The vaccines are safe, effective, and free. It's easy to make an appointment at ny.gov/getvaccinated by calling 833-NYS-4VAX. That's the number 4VAX. Or check
Hey, Tommy, we can kill it and then reboot.
Or health department. A message from the New York State Health Department. Let's vaccinate.
Chris, do you want me to play the sports?